Greetings YouTubers, it's Adam here from the Tree of Liberty channel, and I'd like to announce that as of today, it's just Monday, the 25th of March, as of Monday, once a week you can look forward to seeing a new video. I'm going to challenge myself with every Monday uploading a video of myself trying to start a fire with a different method every time. So that's something that you can look forward to in the coming weeks, and I hope to keep it going as long as possible. I will be filming every Monday. If you don't see an upload, there might have been an issue, and it should be up hopefully no later than Tuesday of every week. So without any further ado, we'll get right into it, and I'll set up and show you what we're going to be doing. How you doing, Max? So today we're going to light a fire with one match, and to boot it's going to be a paper match. One of those that you get, they hand them out for free at gas stations and stuff like that when you buy some smokes, or they'll have some kind of a logo on them, and it'll be a ways of promotion, you know, just your cheapest possible match that you can find. Today I'm going to demonstrate how you can light a fire using just one. We have here on the ground is some birch. It's dead and down. Just picked it up off the ground. It's broken. Birch bark is very great stuff for starting fires, and I'm going to demonstrate to you that here soon. Next stop, a hemlock tree. So here we have a hemlock tree, and the reason why I use hemlock trees as my go-to source other than birch bark for starting fires is because it has every size that you need to start a fire. And the tip of this, as I'm going to try and get into focus, is very thin. It's almost like a thread, and for some reason the hemlock trees, they choke each other out, or they choke themselves out from the sunlight on the bottom of the trees. So a lot of this is always dead when the tops of the trees are green. Now, if you'll notice, and try not to damage the tree, this isn't a pine. This is a hemlock. It is an evergreen, but you can notice that the needles come off of the branches on either side, almost as if they're adhering to a plane. So that's a good way to identify, and they get small cones on the ends of these branches. This tree is great for getting your tinder and your kindling in order, and small sticks are great when you're trying to use one match to start a fire. So here's an example of a good hemlock tree that is, I'd say, fully mature for collecting firewood. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the branches that I'm going to need to do this, and I'll go ahead and show you them close up as I snap them off. This one was just floating here, so I didn't have to snap it off. So I'm not going to make a real big fire, but this is every size kindling and tinder that you need to get a flame going so that you can throw more substantive wood, so that you can put real wood on it. This is just to get to that point where you'll throw it on there and it won't just smolder. So we're gonna go set up shop. I'm gonna try and hunt down maybe one more item that'll increase our chances. Stay tuned. So after much searching, I found the only pine tree in this stand of woods in this part of the swamp that I'm looking in. I had some prior knowledge. I knew it was here. I found it last year. Tried like heck to find another one because I don't like coming all the way back here. Not that it isn't beautiful, but it's just rough terrain. I actually stepped in some soft muck and went about ankle deep for a second. So I don't have the camera on the tripod here. The ground's not level enough and it's rough terrain. So let me just show off what I found here, and then we'll get back to it, starting that fire. So as you can see, I got snagged, not hurt, just tore my pants, got mud in my boots pretty bad. Not that bad, but it's definitely a chore coming back here. This, I believe, is a white pine. Here are some of the needles that come off of it. There are, for you buffs out there, there are 5 needles to a bunch. So I believe that's white pine. Notice the difference between this and the hemlock that I showed you earlier. See, the pine needles come out in bunches. Hemlocks come out singularly and along the whole branch. What I wanted to show you, and I found a little piece right here. This is actually dried and hardened. You can see the layer. It's pine sap. Usually you find this on a wound on the tree, but as you can see, there's no branches on this guy until way up over my head. So I was looking around, and this is the first time I've actually seen this here. Now, I'm not saying it's uncommon, but if you look really closely on the root of this tree, which is right up against this river, and for the fans, this is the river, not that flooded our yard, but this is the river that drains into the runoff creek that flooded our yard. So if you look real hard, you might see my dog running around back there. I'm gonna call him. Come on, Max. It's kind of hard to see him. He's coming. Anyway, back to the point. This here is actually, it looks like bark at first, but when you get into it a little bit and pry some of it off of there, that is some of the best fire starter that you can get. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab up a couple of little pieces of this. And then that crystal. Yeah, look at that. There we go. Now we got some gas on. Oh yeah, just like butter and toast. Having way too much fun, folks. All right. Stay tuned. Here comes the fire. All right, YouTube. Here we go. We got pine sap, locally sourced. We got birch bark from a deadfall, and we have also from dead. This I only snapped off like 2 dead branches, but the rest of these were just hung up in the hemlock tree. This is all hemlock right here. So these are the 3 things that I'm gonna light with 1 paper match. So I'm gonna get the camera set up to do the main filming now, and we'll get right to it. Welcome to my office. First thing we got to do is break all this down so that it's the right size. We're going to start by taking the smallest of the small off the tips of the very tips of these hemlock branches. You want all of the very, very fine pieces off and neatly arranged in a pile where you can grab it without having to rush around too much. So then you get to the next stage, which is just the bare bones of the branch and none of this light tinder stuff. You're going to take these and do the same thing with it. Get it all broken into small lengths and then make a pile for each average size. I usually do the very tips in one pile, the middle of the branch in another pile, and the bottom in its own pile. That way we're working our way up. And I set all these down in order that I'm going to use them. So here's another piece of the hemlock. It's nice and dry. I'm going to take all the little small hairs. I call them small hairs, but they're branches. Don't let me fool you. Of course, you know, it's got to be right up in my business most of the time. So we'll go ahead and break this down to just the tips. And I'm going to go ahead and finish breaking these all up. And I won't bore you to death anymore until I'm ready to light it. So I'm just about finished. Just picking off some of these small little curls off here. This is very good when you have a very little flame. Turns a little flame into a little bit bigger flame. Alright folks, here we go, main event. I have this piece of birch bark here to help defend me from the wind. It is sort of windy today folks, so it's a good day to demonstrate how to use a match properly on a day where it's kind of windy, and that'll most likely be what gets you to goof up and waste half a book of matches. So first step right here is really fine hair-like pieces of the hemlock from a deadfall. And you want to make a little bitty tiny entrance in here to stick your match in. And basically what you want is to get some of that birch bark to fire up, which will then ignite the crumbles from the hemlock tree. And then as it begins to build, you go and you take your next bigger size, and your next bigger size, and you build your fire. You want to have all your materials ready to go. I'm gonna set this here a little bit for a little bit more wind protection. Then last, we take our pine sap and sort of just stick it in there where we're going to put our match, because as soon as that ignites, your fire is golden. It's not going to go out, not unless you let it go out. Basically it'll take over once the match is done, and it will make sure that you light. So I'm taking all these little crumbles here and I'm just sticking them right down next to that hole I made, where I'm going to stick that match in there and light that birch bark. Now, I'm a smoker. Not that I would advocate anyone start. I have a lighter on me most of the time, but that's not what I set out here to do today. So instead, I'm pulling out my emergency matches, and we're going to get this thing going here in just 1 second. Alright, I got my camera hooked up to my pants actually. Basically I just have a clip on my cell phone and I clipped it into the front of my pants because it's got the best view of me crouched down right here. And Well, I'm only going to do this once, so pay attention. I'm going to wait for the wind to die down just a little bit. It's been flip-flopping all day. Right now it's coming out of the south, almost due south. But it's been coming out of the west, the north, the east. It honestly doesn't matter today. It's just going to do whatever the hell it wants to do. So, here we go. Go ahead and put my matches away so we don't have an accident. So, there you have it, the one match fire. Now, I'm not one to just start a fire and walk away and leave it going unattended. So, while we're here, how about we have a little fireside chat? Whew, had to move away there. So, some of you may be wondering, why is it that I chose the name Tree of Liberty? Well, it's simple, really, because liberty is not always very well defined when we're going to school and learning about history or social studies or anything, really. We grow up hearing it, we grow up saying it, with liberty and justice for all. But what does liberty mean? Liberty is the fundamental right for you to be able to conduct your life in the way that you see fit, unencumbered. It's basically freedom to do whatever the hell you want, as long as you're not infringing on someone else's liberty. That would go against liberty, because you're encumbering somebody. If you're trying to hinder their liberty, that's not right. I mean, it's not justice. It's not fair. The only way for free people to coexist is to maintain liberty. And with liberty, the important thing to remember is that you have to be very responsible with liberty. If you don't, if liberty is all you have and you're not responsible with it, you won't have it for very long. Worst case scenario, you starve to death, you freeze to death, you die of thirst. If you don't have the liberty to go out and take care of what you need to take care of and do what you need to do to survive, well, then you don't have liberty. You don't have justice. You don't have anything. So, Tree of Liberty, although my channel may not pop up first when you type it in, is a very common keyword on YouTube. Lots of stuff comes up before my channel. So if you're searching for me, search Tree of Liberty channel. Probably get you there just as quick. And you all know my face by now if you're still watching. And my face is on my channel icon. So fire's still going. Burning on a wet log, wet, dead, spongy log, in case anyone's wondering, just to be up off the ground a little bit. Telling you what, it's actually kind of nice and warm next to this little fire here, and all I'm doing is burning the kindling right now. That's it. So, well, there you have it. We have our first ever, on my channel, fire start challenge, and I plan to continue this throughout the existence of my channel, I guess you could say, And every week, Monday, I'm going to film myself starting a fire with a different method. Today was the paper match. And I was going to just do a regular wooden kitchen match, but like I figured I'd up the ante and go ahead and just use a paper match, because there's less time to get done what you need done, and a less hot of a flame. This is more likely to go out in the wind. But it didn't happen today. You guys saw it uncut and live. Well, not live, but uncut. So that was actually one try. I didn't stop it and retry. In case you're wondering, it was the Hard Rock Cafe, Casino, and Hotel that was on the booklet here, matches. And as you can see, only one match gone from the front right there. Maybe you can't see it, but didn't use them up. Well, there you have it, folks. How to light a fire with one match. If you follow these steps, you almost can't go wrong. I mean, gotta build your fire before you light your fire. And that's what I did, getting all of these little pieces of hemlock up and stacked in place and ready to go. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. I should have an upload tomorrow, and then next Monday I will have a new fire start challenge. Hope you guys tune in and enjoy. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Love you guys. Just to finish up with another word on the responsibility of liberty. Just because you can build a fire doesn't mean that you should just walk away from it or the coals. As you can see, I've stomped this out. Okay, there is only residual heat. There's nothing that is combustible remaining. Like I said, liberty is important. And my channel aims to uncover all the branches on the tree of liberty so that you know what they are and that you can be more safe and secure in your own way, by your own hands. That's the goal here, people. Stay liberated.